And welcome back to the Play-by-Play podcast. I'm your host, Finn Hogan, back with co-host Alec Palella.
How's it going, guys?
And this will be our third one back from break. We got Joe behind the camera again, helping us out, kind of making sure everything works because, I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. But this guest this week, 4-star recruit, by far the biggest recruit we've ever had on here. He's played at Indiana, Jackson State with Coach Prime. Now here at Central Michigan, I'd like to introduce you to Jordyn Williams. Jordyn, how you doing today?
Doing good, man. Appreciate y'all for having me on.
Heck yeah. Now, you're from Georgia, right?
Yep.
How do you feel about the snow right now?
Man, it was cool the first couple of days, you know what I'm saying? But like
It gets old real fast.
Yeah, it get old real fast.
Well, and Mount Pleasant is like, I told you this, it's a nasty snow. It's not even like it sits and it's like, no, it's just gross.
Today was
the whole time.
I almost ate shit like 4 times walking into class.
It's
I wore my
slippery.
Crocs to class today. First mistake. I'm walking in like slipping and sliding,
It
bro.
was slippery today. Yeah. So weather's garbage in Mount Pleasant. It's terrible out today.
Right.
But yeah, we got Jordyn Williams on the podcast. This will be cool because he's been all kinds of different places around the country. And like I said, he's been with Coach Prime, who's, a big headline right now. So we'll get into all that stuff. First, as we do every podcast, question of the day, Super Bowl coming up. Who's going to make it to the Super Bowl? Okay, pick your 2 teams. Who's winning this week? And then who's winning the Super Bowl?
This week,
Yeah. So we'll go Eagles, 49ers. Who's winning that one?
I'll say the Eagles this week.
Eagles
for
beat
this week.
49ers.
I'll say Eagles
And
this
then,
week.
what's the other one? Chiefs and Bengals. Who wins that?
Wait, home or away?
Chiefs are home.
Chiefs at home?
Yeah.
I say the Chiefs at home.
Okay, Chiefs,
I got
Eagles.
Chiefs at home.
I got a very different list.
I got Chiefs
You got
at
total
home.
opposite?
I want the Bengals to win the whole thing.
I think it'd be
opinion.
cool for Burrow to win.
Yeah, because he didn't. What happened? It was last year, right? He
year.
lost last year.
Yeah.
So I think it would be dope if he came back and won it this year, especially coming off the injury from a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Right.
And then I kind of want the 49ers to win too because I'm a George Kittle fan. And I like CMC. I think their team's stat. I just think that would be dope.
I think it'd be
if
sweet
they
for
won.
Purdy to win.
Yeah, that too.
Beat Mr. Irrelevant and then
Irrelevant.
coming in and just balling up. Never lose. You don't lose a single start all year. That'd be crazy.
Right.
I don't like the Chiefs. I don't know why. Nothing against Patrick Mahomes or anything like that.
Chiefs,
But
they were just. It's like one of those teams that were so too good.
Overrated.
yeah, exactly. I feel
Yeah.
that. I think that was the same reason I kind of went with that. But all right, we'll see how it works out.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
First thing I want to dive into Georgia. We got a couple teammates from Georgia. Explain Georgia football, because I know we had Bert on one podcast, and he kind of talked about Texas football, which is just different. What was high school like for you? How big was your high school? What was that whole experience like for you?
Well, when I was in Georgia, I was only there through my 9th grade through 11th grade year. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
But through that time period when I was there, it was a lot of, I would say, gruesome.
Really?
Man, workouts and stuff. Cause just because of the heat
Hot.
and stuff like that by itself. But
I can only imagine 2-a-days where I'm from. It's 80,
yeah,
and they're
right.
everybody's terrible. But for you, it's gotta be hitting hundreds.
Oh yeah, especially when you out in the sand dunes and stuff like that. Because
Yeah.
my little high school that I was at, we weren't a big high school. You know what I'm saying? But we had our different little spots we would go work out in. And stuff
Yeah.
Like that.
Talk about the recruiting. You were a 4-star, correct?
Mm-hmm.
We've never had that's crazy. I was mentioning on the podcast. I was 0-star. I didn't have
Yeah.
anything. What were you?
I was a 3-star.
Alec was 3. So talk about, and I know you had the full list of offers and
Yeah.
things like that. Go through that. What was the coolest visit you ever went on?
I'll probably say my coolest visit I probably went on was the probably my Tennessee visit.
That's sick.
When I went to Tennessee, that
That's
was probably
crazy.
my hardest visit.
Was that a game day one? You
Yeah.
go check out.
It was a
That's
game
so
day one.
cool.
Yeah.
Well, name off your offer. What were some of the big ones that you had offer wise?
I just do a big 5. My big 5 that I had were Alabama. I had Louisville, Tennessee, IU. What's another big one I had? Well, I can't really remember a whole lot.
Yeah,
That
no,
was-
I'm sure
it was a
there
minute
were
ago,
plenty
but-
of them. You meet Saban?
Yeah, I did.
That's so
I got a
sick.
little chat
God.
with him.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And then, so did you do 7? How did you get into the recruiting scene? Because I think there's a lot of people out there that obviously have these big goals and aspirations, but don't know how to go into it. How did you get seen by people, if that makes sense?
Well, my recruiting journey started when I was coming out in 9th grade.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I didn't really get a whole lot of recognition coming out. So I decided to start going out to camps and stuff, individual camps, and then I joined a little 707 team that was around in the area, and those would get my ties back to Tallahassee and stuff like that. So I went and played with them, and that's what really started putting my name on the map, working with one of my coaches, Harrison Smith. Shout out to you, coach. But Yeah, but yeah, he put me on the map too.
Okay. How do you feel about like camps? Did you ever do like the camp scene, like go to the big camps and stuff like that? Do you think that's worth it for kids? I don't think we've even talked about that. Do you feel like camps are worth it? And stuff
I think
like
we did a little bit. I mean, I went to some smaller camps. Like it was like I think it was a D3 school. Like they had like big schools there.
Yeah, no,
like,
no,
it was
no, I know
at
what you
like
mean.
North Central. I don't know if you guys ever heard of that, but it's an Illinois like smaller school,
Right.
and they had like the bigger schools. Like I remember there was like Rutgers. Like they have like the Big Ten and everything. But I think that definitely is worth it. Like you see kids there like getting offered on the spot. Like I remember this one time, this kid, he was a big old lineman. They were doing like one-on-one drills, and his like dream school was there. I think it was Indiana, to be honest. I'm not sure though, but he got offered on the spot, and he like started breaking down the field like crying. Like his dad was, like it's just a cool experience. I think it's definitely worth it in my opinion. But
I'm from like nowhere, Michigan, but there's a bigger town next to me, and we had a kid. His name's Josh Burnham. What up, Josh? He plays at Notre Dame now, but he got like he had Bama, like all those ones as well. And he was like nobody knew who he was or whatever. And he went down to Michigan State, and I forget what the kid's name was, but he went like one-on-one reps against like some 4-star running back. He played backer, shut him down like 3 times in a row or whatever, and just blew up. I think Iowa offered him there, State, Bama, like they all just started coming after that. And I was like that stuff's. I always think of recruiting. It's so opportunity based, like and what happens in that moment. Because I'm like, that kid could go beat him the next 7 times, but he won those 3 reps right there, and that's all everyone's gonna remember. They take that and it runs. So recruiting is such a weird thing, and that's what I always say, because it's all like you're in the right. You gotta make the most of your opportunity. Like at these big camps, you only get. I mean, I can't say I've actually been to one, but like I've helped coach ones here and stuff like that. You only get so many reps, you know what I mean? Right. So making the most of that kind of stuff, I think it's huge, and like it's such a big deal or whatever. But yeah. Then you early enrolled, am I right with that? And talk about that. Explain the process, like what is early enrolling, because you're the first person we've had on that's also done that. Kind of tell people like what that means, because I think a lot of people are confused, and if like someone's interested in that, like how do you go about that?
Well, if you're interested in early enrolling, I know early enrolling with me, what my process was, it was just based off my high school, how much I did, a certain amount of work, and then I carried that on to doing college while I was in high school. So when it was time for me to graduate or either to go into college during the early signing period, I was able to go into it just based off how many credits I had knocked off early on. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah. And then do you think it was worth it? Because I feel like for me, I'm a walk-on. But I still came when like they all got here and stuff like that. And I feel like just coming that like few months early helped me like tremendously. How did like coming early enrolling instead of coming at the normal time period like put you ahead of that?
It put you ahead of the game, because it's like with my early enrollees that came in with me, we were ahead of the ball of the ones that came later on during the workouts and stuff like that, because you know what I'm saying, you get ahead more so in classes, you get more ahead on the playbooks and stuff like that, stuff that's just gonna make you elevate, you know what I'm saying. And
when you got there, were you playing DB?
I was playing both sides.
So I think that's one thing I didn't address at the beginning, but you played DB. Now, when you went to Jackson State, did you play DB there too, or were you playing wideout? So you were playing receiver there, then you came here, you played receiver right away. You didn't play any DB, right?
No, I just played receiver.
All right. Talk about Big Ten football. I know one time, I'll never forget, we were on the sideline, and you and Carlos were talking or something like that, and you looked at Carlos and like, man, I miss like chiropractor Tuesday or like something like that. And he was like, dang, you're right. You guys had like a chiropractor?
Yeah,
like,
we had all kind of different little stuff that just
explain that, because I think like
stuff, you know
obviously for me growing up, I was always like, dude, like the Big Ten, like just talk about some of like the cool stuff you guys got to do.
Well, some of the cool stuff that we got to do with, like you said, like was the chiropractor and stuff like that. You get your own little massage times. They come out and take care of you real nice. You know what I'm saying? They really pamper you when you up there at the Big Ten.
Yeah.
So.
No, I believe it. What was the facility like? I've never been to. Have you been in it? You probably no.
No, when I like was getting recruited, it was COVID year, so I couldn't go on any.
That's right.
Came to Central, Western, and like Ball State. Really, that was pretty and NIU. So like a lot of the MAC schools, but
it's
a lot different. With
100%. Yeah.
Right.
Talk about like the facilities and stuff like that, like Big Ten facilities. What was that like?
I would say like the facilities. No matter really what school you go to, they're really gonna be relatively the same. Just different design base, but like I couldn't say they were much bigger. We have more like our game rooms and stuff like that. That was the most like really differences though.
weren't we supposed to have a third floor?
Yeah, there was supposed to be a third
We were supposed to put a third floor on the one that we have. It's like built so you can add it on, I think.
Yeah.
But like there was
That
supposed
was
to be
where
like
the players' lounge.
there's
or
supposed to be a
whatever it
players'
was.
lounge, a barber shop, like
Oh,
a
yeah.
game room, the bar. Like there's supposed to be a bunch of stuff up there, but obviously,
I've seen like TikToks and like videos of like I don't know if it was I think it was Alabama that their like lockers like
They're, like,
lean
chairs.
back.
Lean
Yeah,
back
it
to the
was,
chair.
it was like a
I have seen
recliner
that.
and then the
Like-
thing like drops down, so you're like
Yeah.
in your own little personal like dark cave to take a nap and stuff, and that shit's crazy.
But you
Yeah.
can do that when you win in like big natties and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Oh
all
yeah,
the money
that's what
rolling
happens.
in,
That's what
yeah.
happens. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
How many students did Indiana have?
I really don't know, but it was like really diverse. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It was a
no,
lot of
100%. Talk about like that. What was like game day experiences like? Like, was it like? I know, like we went to Penn State this year. Like for me, that was the craziest thing I've ever
Yeah.
experienced. Talk about like, what's the craziest game day experience you've been a part of?
I'll probably say my craziest game day when I was at IU was the Michigan game.
Okay.
And that was just because like we sold out the arena, broke the record and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So like it was real loud, packed. And I would have said the Penn State game, but they played us at home, so it wasn't
Okay.
as loud.
Yeah.
But that Michigan game, when we came to Michigan, that was the biggest game.
That's so sweet. We played in the big house 2 years, something
2
like
years.
that. Bro, that would be like by far the coolest experience for sure. So then, how long were you at Indiana?
I was at Indiana for a year.
A year. So like the early enrollee, then you had that
Mhm.
season, and then you came to Jackson State in the spring.
Right.
Talk about that recruit. Talk about like the transfer portal, what that was like leaving Indiana. Then kind of mention like recruiting stuff and like Coach Prime. Obviously, that's a huge thing. Him at Colorado now is like one of the biggest college football things going on right now.
Right.
So kind of just talk about that, like what it was like entering the transfer portal, and like that recruiting phase.
Well, like you said, like back in high school, I had a connection with Coach Prime. I played with him. Like I said, I left my hometown and my junior year, and I moved to Texas, and then I started playing under Coach Prime and stuff like that. And then from there, after I was leaving Indiana, I still had ties back to Coach Prime. So he always, well, actually, I was about to go when he got the job. I wanted to go with him, but during the time, he was just telling me like, nah, you go your route, you know what I'm saying, and make sure that's your path first before you decide to stick with me, you know what I'm saying. That's why I always salute him for that, you know what I'm saying. So, but from that point, when it was time for me to leave Indiana, I contacted him, got back with him, and he told me he had a spot for me. So, and that's when I came and went back with him, and that's when I was balling.
That's sweet. I think that's like
I'm kind of curious. Like, what has he brought around like some big names like to practices or like things like that? Like, have you met any like crazy people through him? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I say the craziest person I met through him. You probably think I'm lying, but it's Antonio Brown.
nah. I believe it.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. Well, he came here a couple.
Yeah, he was here a few
4 or
years
5
ago.
years ago or whatever. Because I remember I had one of my good friends from home. His older brother, who was my coach for like a year, came here, played here, and he came, and that's how like when they got the heated
The-
seats
yeah,
that we
I
have and
seen when y'all
stuff,
got those.
and he was like visiting the school and stuff. They all met him, but yeah, like that's crazy.
Yeah, he
I know.
He stayed down there for like like probably like 2 weeks, and we had like workouts and stuff together.
So
That's
yeah,
so
you got to
sick.
train with. That's
Yeah.
cool. That's cool.
I know. Have you watched like the Amazon Prime thing that came out, like the 4
Oh, yeah,
episode
like the
thing or whatever?
Prime Pro-
Bro,
yeah,
he had like
Prime
Snoop
Pro.
come out for one. Like he was in the
Yeah.
locker room, like dancing and stuff. It looks so sick. Talk about what is it like having him as a coach? Because I think obviously he's a huge figure right now in the college football world. Talk about like what it's like having him as a coach. Like, is he the same kind of guy you like see on the TV and stuff like that, or like kind of just talk about like his personality and stuff?
I feel like his personality is just the same as what you see on TV. You know what I'm saying? Like he really like more caring than a lot of people may think. Not give him credit for. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he really care about his players.
Yeah.
And he really care about like the your individual goals and where you see yourself like farther from where you at now. So I say like he helped a lot of people like get themselves on straight, and at the same time like he take care of his players.
Yeah.
So he's not gonna let you like be without. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I can say about him.
What's the funniest Prime story you got?
I'll probably say the funniest Prime story probably was when I first moved out there. And when I first moved out, we in the middle of Texas. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
So we was all at his house. He got a little mansion crib out in Canton.
Yeah, I can believe
And
it.
one of his sons, Bucky, that's his oldest son.
The oldest one, yeah. He don't play, do he?
No, he don't play, but he had, we were all outside and stuff like that. We was walking around, and there was a snake outside in front of, like, the front door.
Yeah.
So Coach Prime was in the back sleep, and he kept telling us, like, to keep it down because he was back there sleeping. So we seen the snake, and we was like, we're not letting the snake get in the house. So Bucky goes and decides to get one of the biggest guns he can find and decides that we're going to let rounds off into the snake while it's down. So we all outside the door. Like his room is like a couple windows down. So it was probably like 5 seconds of silence. And then you just hear just boom, boom. So everybody looking at the snake. He missed the snake. So we're all just looking at the snake squirm around. Coach Prime is calling Bucky forward, screaming at him. So they telling me to get the shovel. So I got to chase the snake with the shovel. And I'm trying to kill it. But that was probably like one of the craziest nights when I was there because, like, man, I thought I was going to get put out for, like, being out there with him. I knew he wasn't going to put his son out. But, like, yeah, that was probably, like, one of my craziest nights there.
That's some, like, Texas shit, though, because that would never happen up here.
Honestly, though, with Mac, I could totally see it happening.
Have
you been to Mac's house before?
Mm-mm.
Dude,
The barn.
we got to talk.
The barn?
It's called they call it the barn, and it's literally, it's not, he doesn't own it. It's like he's running it, like, while he's here and stuff like that. But it's, like, down, what's this road even called?
I'm terrible with the road.
I don't know
It's
either. It's
either
right down this
Broomfield
road.
or like Mission Street.
If
Something
you go
like that.
straight down this road, you go, like, you'll hit a stop sign, keep going past
You know where
that.
like the golf courses,
Bowling alley?
and the
It's
bowling
like-
I know
alley.
the bowling alley.
Yeah,
It's like
over
right
there.
past that.
Okay.
And it's literally a huge barn, and we go there. I've been there for like recruit, like when we have to host a recruit or something like that. And you like walk in, dude. There's like 4 like souped up like
He's got, like
trucks,
12 cars.
Like,
Like
dude,
12,
some
13.
crazy cars. They have like a slingshot, you know, like the
three-wheel.
3-wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there was a couple Corvettes, like some different stuff like that. Obviously, you're not gonna have any like supercars. Not
He's got like a whole parking lot. Like,
Yeah, I heard
in the side of
about
the barn. It's
place,
crazy.
yeah.
And then you go inside, you go upstairs, and it's literally like, I probably have some pictures and stuff, but it's like, dude, it's it's like the top of a barn loft, and there's like a bunch of couches out and like this big like screen that drops down, bars on
huge
both
bar,
sides,
Huge bar.
big kitchen, like a mini living room kind of area. And so like that's where we all go for like that stuff. But honestly, Mac's like the kind of guy that's like, if somebody did that, like it'd be like a whole ordeal. I could see it happening. Funny Mac story. I don't know if you were here for it, but I know you were here. He came in and you know how it goes. Mac walks in, everybody's like, sit up straight kind of vibe. He walked in, everybody like, who sits up straight? And he like kind of was like walking, like looking around, kind of like, somebody was like, he had some like snake skin.
Oh, yeah, I
You know what I'm
remember
talking
that.
about? He had some like snake skin loafers on us. And I think it was like Pete. Someone in the front row was like, damn, Coach Mac, you got some you out here tripping on us. Everybody was like, yeah. And he like quiets everybody down, pulls a can of dip out of his back pocket, packs a lip, puts it back and goes, can't hide money, boys. And everybody just lost it, dude. It was hysterical. That's like my favorite Mac story ever. It was so funny. Or
I forgot about that, honestly.
that was
hilarious.
hysterical. I was like, yeah, literally.
Can't hide money,
It goes
boy.
dead silent, packs a lip, can't hide money, boys. And everybody just lost it. That or my other Mac one was after we won the bowl game last year, he put Reese's Buffs on.
Yeah.
And he was up there like doing all this like, oh my God, it was hysterical. But that's my favorite Mac story, dude, by far. Other thing I want to ask about, what's like the is there because I was talking to Bracey, from Wisconsin, and he was saying like the workouts at Wisconsin, like conditioning wise and stuff like that, like nowhere near like what we do. He's like, we only condition Fridays. Like, what was it? Is there a big difference between Indiana football, Jackson State football, and Central Michigan football?
I say yeah, just because, just like you say, like the levels. Those are all different levels, you know what I'm saying? So when I was with the Big Ten, it was more like intense workouts, you know what I'm saying? More like, I wouldn't say more intense, I would just say more time consuming.
Yeah.
Because you're going to do like your lift, and then you're going to go straight to your run. No matter what the day is, you're going to go straight from lift to run.
Yeah.
And it all just depends on what the coach say the workout is. That's what we're going to do for the day, you know what I'm saying? But at Jackson State, like, it was more so running, sprinting, stuff like that. So it was a whole lot of days where you can't really move your legs
Speed
for real.
work
You know what I'm
stuff,
saying? Yeah. But that's what got me ready, like, for up here, because now that I'm up here and y'all do mostly speed work, I like it. You know what I'm saying? That's
quick
like,
stuff. Talk about also like the skill level, because I've heard a lot of people always be like, oh, like college football is college football. Like at some point, it doesn't really matter where you go. What's like the skill? Like if Indiana compared to Jack State compared to here, talk about like the skill level difference, speed, size. I think the biggest difference is size.
Yeah,
if you could, like, I feel like obviously we have some big offensive linemen, but like Big Ten offensive linemen are like, that's like a different breed of like human. Kind of like talk on that. Like skill wise, is there like a big difference in gap, or is it actually like people say college football is college football?
I mean, it all just depends on how you want to look at it, because like you say, different teams gonna have different sizes. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it comes down to like comparing different conferences. And I agree with Coach Prime side of it. How he says the only thing that separates like the conferences is your offensive lineman, defensive lineman. You know what I'm saying? Because your skill players are normally gonna match up. So when they come down to those, I mean, that comes with coaching, all kind of techniques. It all. I don't know a whole lot about O-line, D-line, but I know it got to be a whole lot of technique behind it.
No, 100%.
It all is what you coach.
Yeah. So then you came here. I want to ask you, because we talked about how you played wide receiver and corner. Which one do you prefer? Because I feel like me and you have talked, and you were like, yo, like, I kind of want to play some corner right now. Like, here, talk, like, which one would you rather play?
I mean, it all,
honestly,
I mean, I don't know. I'm just a team
type
of guy. Like, wherever you need me at, if you need me over here right now, then I can do it. If you need me over here right now, I can do that too. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's not really a preference type of thing. It's just, I just like to be on the field at the end of the day.
Is there any other position you'd want to play?
No, I played a little punter in high school.
Yeah.
I played a little punter in high school.
I always say quarterback. I always say I could have been White Lamar Jackson if I wanted.
Slide out.
That's what I would say. What would you have played if you didn't play tight end?
Well,
you said DN, right?
I played DN in high school.
That's so
too.
lame.
But I was pretty good at DN in high school. But yeah, I would definitely play. I played middle linebacker, but I probably couldn't play anything much but that. Maybe quarterback. I don't know.
Well, I'm saying like you can do anything you want. Like screw size.
Yeah, like you just
wide, not wide.
Yeah.
No, I would definitely play like I like my position, tight end, DN. I would say linebacker's fun too though, because like the lineman, D line, they're taking up all the big dudes, and then you fill in, you're making all the tackles. You know what I'm saying? Like Moretti makes all the tackles. You know, what I'm saying?
I used to play linebacker.
Really?
Yeah, I was freaking a dog.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Nah. So then I want to ask. This has been like my new question. I've been asking at the end, kind of, what's the future hold for JD, Jordyn Williams? You see, obviously that's a big question. We got a lot of stuff going on right now, but like, what are some goals? What do you want to do in the future? If that makes sense.
I say my main goal is to make it to the league.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. But other than that, I mean, well, as far as the team wise, we got to win. Like
facts.
We got to win a conference championship. That's the next thing.
Agree with
another thing is me personally. I want to graduate with my degree.
Heck yeah.
I'm majoring at kinesiology.
Damn.
That's my major. So I want to graduate my degree in that and really just be successful, bro. Yeah. Just live peacefully.
I like it. I was like,
how many years do you go? Is it just 4 or how many? 6? I don't know how much it is for kinesiology.
On kinesiology, I think it's 4.
I think it's normal 4.
It's 4?
Yeah, it's normal 4. Okay. Depending on like credit or whatever or something like that.
If you want to go higher up, yeah.
But I like to ask that question just because obviously I would say we're more than athletes. We got other things going on in our lives and stuff like that. But I do the social media thing. Did I tell you I got shadow banned on TikTok this week?
You get shadow banned on TikTok?
Bro, we were live in the tubs and Nari dropped the hard R on my live. And he walks straight up to the camera and just drops it. 3 minutes later, the live just gets cut off, and it's like racial slurs are not allowed on this platform. I was like, Nari.
You're too big on TikTok. You know they're really watching you.
It was so funny. Kenny was like dogging on him. And then like Saturday night, he came up to me and he was like, "I'm so sorry, Finn. I'm so sorry." I'm like, "Dude, you're fine. It doesn't matter." But like I said, we're more than athletes. I always like to bring that part out because like obviously we have things going on. We have lives too. You know what I mean? But I appreciate you coming on, my boy. Thank you.
Sure, man.
This will be a sick one.
Appreciate it.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you guys for coming back in for the play-by-play podcast. Thank you, Jordan, for coming back on. If you guys haven't already, hit the subscribe button, like, comment, shoot ideas out to me, people you want to have out. Me and Joe are going to figure out this Zoom thing after this, so I think we're going to get KP and those guys on as well. So stay tuned. We're going to get some bigger guests, some NFL guys, people doing it for reals. But I appreciate you guys watching. Stay tuned Saturdays at 2 p.m. Thank you again for coming on. We'll see you guys later. Peace out.
Peace.